Hi, thank you. In this video, what we are going to do is to give you an example, like a project, to help you understand how Git and GitHub work. So we continue talking about the source code management tools, and in this case, we're looking at GitHub. So we're looking at GitHub, how you can use it. For the sake of our project, what I would like you to do is to make sure that you have an account. You need to have an account with GitHub. Secondly, you need to have Git installed. Git has to be installed on your local system. And you're gonna need to create a working environment, and I'll show you how to do that. You will need a working environment. So I'll put ENV to stand for environment. Number one, set up an account. Number two, make sure that Git is installed on your system. And number three, you need to have a working environment. This is where you will be building or working from. All right, we're gonna do that. Let me take you quickly to GitHub, to the website here. Go to any internet browser that you may have. Any internet browser that you may have. I'm gonna take you there quickly. Here we are. I'm already logged in because I already have an account with GitHub. I'll sign out. So this is what you see when you go to GitHub. When you go to github.com, this is the address where you need to go, github.com. You go there, you should be able to see the page that we're looking at right now. You sign in here if you already have an account. Or you sign up if you don't have an account. And when you click on sign up, you land on this page. The first thing you need to do, enter your email address here. And now when you click continue, it should, in my case, you see this. And you see this because that's my email. All right. For you, you're going to need to, you will not see this, but you're going to see the next prompt, which will call you to do the next thing. Okay, just follow the prompts. It's an easy thing to do. I'll go back to sign in. And this is where I am. So our first requirement, which is to have an account on GitHub, is met. You're gonna need to have an account on GitHub before doing this project. All right, so that's checked. Number two, you're gonna need to install Git on your local system. Git should be installed on your local system. How do we install Git on our local system? Let's say if you have a Linux operating system, you're gonna use this command here, sudo, meaning it's Linux. It could be Ubuntu, Fedora, CentOS, RHEL, or any Linux-based system. You're gonna use sudo, and then you use the apt get. That's what we call package management utility in Linux. It could be apt, that's for Ubuntu or Debian based systems, or it could be yum for the other systems. Then you just say install git. You're gonna do that. That's the first command, and that's for Linux systems. If you have a Mac OS system, what you just do is brew install git. Remember, make sure that brew is also installed first in on your system if you have if you have a Mac OS computer. The next is Windows. For Windows, you're gonna need to use Choco install, meaning that first you have to install Choco on your system. Okay, Choco install git. And how to install brew on Mac OS, how to install Choco on Windows, just Google how to install Choco on Windows. I mean, it's very, very simple. I'll show it to you here. So go here. You want to say how to install brew on Mac. You're going to find this one here, the homebrew documentation. Just follow this documentation and you should be set. So follow that documentation and you should be okay. I'm gonna delete this here, just erase it. If you wanna install how to install Choco on Windows, so here you have the documentation here. So go with the Choco lady or something like that. I don't know how you would pronounce this word here, but yeah, just follow the steps here, and you should be okay. Should be fine. Back to our drawing board, and that's how you need to what you need to do. And as I said, so number one, you have an account with Git on GitHub. Number two, Git is installed. And number three, we're gonna go to work now. So we're gonna make a directory which will be our working directory. Okay? And this will become our local repo. So we're gonna refer to this our local repository. This local repository is what you're gonna send to the cloud, to GitHub. So you're gonna send it to GitHub. So that's kind of like what we do. So you wanna send your local repository here, and that is push. And then from GitHub to your local machine, that is pull. We're gonna do that. But remember that a Git has a life cycle, right? And what you're gonna notice as we proceed with this, we will be using Git init. We're gonna be using Git init. Then we'll do Git add command. We'll use next Git commit, and we're gonna use Git push. So this is kind of like the life cycle. So what you do, you first initialize, you stage, you commit. So initialize, you stage, you commit, and then you push. And remember, GitHub is it's a source code management tool, also known as a versioning management tool. Very important for collaboration and also for versioning. So collaboration and versioning. When you do git add, you're telling Git to begin tracking your repository, okay, that you have on your local machine. All right, let's now go to our command line. We're gonna go to our command line, and the first thing that I want us to do, I'll be going a little bit quick here. The first thing that we want to do is to create our working directory. And how do we do that? So anywhere from your local machine, you're gonna need to create a directory, and you call it Git, let's say GitHub demo. We'll call it GitHub demo. So that's our directory. And then if you ls, you're gonna see you have created this file here. Next, what you need to do is to move into that directory. How do you know that you are where you should be? Use this command here. And of course, here you see this long path. That's because I have a lot of stuff here. But you know, at the end here, you see that's the name of our working directory. And this will be our environment. So we've decided that this is our environment. The first thing that we need to do is to initialize this to be our repository, our local repository that will be also pushing at some point to GitHub. And to do that, you do git init. And now our empty Git repository has been initialized. I'll clear my screen using the clear command. So now what I need to do is I can create a simple file. Let's create a simple file. You can either create file number 1. So I'll say file number 1. Doing this, and then you add content to that, or you can use the echo command. Echo command will add this text to the file. First, it creates the file, and then it's gonna add this text, this content to the file. This is my first repo. I'll just do that, and then I'm gonna use the redirect operator here to say file. I'll just say git file. Just call it that way, and then enter. So if you ls, you see our git file now exists. If you cat to display the content of that file, we see this content here. All right, so that's done. So we've created our first file on our environment. Now we need to stage this, and how do we do that? We do git add, and then I'm saying that everything in here, I want Git to track everything that we have in here. And you can now use the sign here, Git status. It shows you that you are on branch main. GitHub uses a concept like branch, which allows the developers to work on their individual projects without using or messing up with the other branches. Okay, so you create your own branch, and then you say, okay, I'll be pushing everything to this branch. But the main branch, one of the best practices is that you don't play or mess up with that main branch, because that's what we have in production, you know, something like that. So we'll talk about branching in a moment here. All right, so we have this file. It's a new file, and it's being tracked. Now what we need to do is to commit, and we're gonna say first commit, then press enter. And it tells you that this is your first commit, and then it gives you some numbers there. You should be set now. If you do git status again, and you see everything has been committed, there's nothing else to commit. All right, after committing, then you can now go back. You go to your Git repository. In our case, we're using, this is our local repository. So just create a remote repository using the same name. Let's go to our website here, to our GitHub account. So we are here. Here, go to home. You see the green button here. This is what you click to create a new repository. And here, or you can go to your picture profile picture, and define your repositories. It's gonna also give you the new button here. So I click on that. I'm gonna give it the same name. Every time you do that, GitHub will search the database to see if your name, your repository name is available. And in my case, it is available here. So then that's good. All right, now you can either select the add README file. That's kind of like instructions on what to do here. You can do that, or you can just ignore it. So I'm gonna ignore it. You can also add this here, which, like in case you want to choose which files you don't want Git to track, then this is where you go to take care of that. You can choose also a license to attach to your repository. I'm not going to do that, but this is just a demo to show you how you can push and pull repositories. Click Create Repository. When you do this, you're gonna land on this page here. This page kind of like tells you what you need to do next. All right, we have already created our file, and we don't need a README file. We have already staged everything. We have already committed everything. So now what we need to do is to use this this command here. This command here would say, okay, so we're gonna name our branch main if we want, but we don't need to do that. What we need to do is to add this remote repository to our local system here. Let's go to our local command line here. I'm gonna paste what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just paste what I copied there. But otherwise, the command is git remote add origin. That's the command, and then this one is just the URL of the remote repository. I press enter, and then after doing this, then I can do the git push command. So it's gonna be git push. Then I'll do u-u origin, and then the branch where we want to push this. I press enter. It's gonna tell you that, hey, this is what you have done. And when you see something like this, you know, 100% done, and here 100%, there's no complaint, and you see the branch here, the branch that we named main, it's gonna go to the remote branch, the remote repositories branch named main. Okay, go back to your website, to your account here, and if you refresh this here, it's gonna look different. So it's gonna show us the file that we have created here. So you click on the file, you're gonna see the same text here. And let's say we change this here. So I'm gonna change this here. I'm gonna say I'm a genius. So this is the remote repository. We've changed this, and because we've changed it on the remote repository, and I click commit changes, kind of like on the command line. So click commit changes, and here I say updated git file, commit change, and you see we've done this, and so this we have modified the file remotely. So if we come back here and we want to run our command again. If we do this, you see, so we have an error here. We have an error. It's saying rejected, failed to push some to this here. And usually when you do this, it's gonna give you some hints saying, hey, this is what you need to do. Before doing that, you have to make sure that they match. Like here, you see you have fetch first. It gives you some way that you could resolve this situation here. And another way that you could do it is to pull and see if that may probably help you resolve the situation here. Okay, this is also one of the opportunities where we can talk a little bit about some troubleshooting here. One command that we could try, as I said, is the pull origin main, and see if we can fetch some of these, the local and remote repositories. So you use this command to resolve that, and here it's giving you what's happening here. So you have the branch, then a fetch head, and so it gives you, and then it says updating this one here, fast forward git file. So that's a file in question that we need to resolve here. It says one file changed, one insertion, so something new has been inserted. There is also one deletion. I'm gonna clear my screen here. So let's ls, this is our file. Let's see if we can cat the file. And now on our local system, on our local repo, we have the addition of I am a genius, just like what we changed on our remote repo. See here, that's exactly what we've done, and this is how you can play with this stuff here. Also, another way that you can do this is you have a repo on GitHub. So let's say you have a remote repo on GitHub. You can use git clone to get everything from the repo, and then you can make changes. I'm gonna show you how we can do this. let's say we go out of this by doing cd cd space dot dot, meaning we go a step up, one step level up. And this is our local repo, right? So let's say we remove it. So I'm gonna remove it, and I'm using the -R to delete the content also of this folder. So I do that, press yes, press yes, press yes, press yes, press yes, and then that's done. So I clear my screen and ls, it's not there anymore. So now we go back to our remote, our repository, our GitHub account. So we're here, and this is our GitHub demo. You see, so we have this one here, and then we want to work off of this, right? And what we need to do is to just copy this URL, go back to our command line here, I'll clear my screen, and do git clone, and then paste the URL and enter. So it's gonna clone everything here. So we have everything here. I'll clear my screen and ls, you see this is our GitHub, and if we go in there and ls, we have our file here. All right, so now let's say we want to change something from there. So like we want to add training to become a DevOps engineer at T2S. So we do that, and then instead of just using one, right arrow, I'll use two to say we do not want to delete this, but we want to add. That's to append in there. So we want to add this new content to the original content. Press enter, and then if you cat, you're gonna see we have a second line with the line that we've just added. You can use also some editing tools on Linux, which is you can use Nano, Vim, or VI. Okay, so that's done. We have made the changes. So what we need to do is to initialize this, and then we're gonna do this to stage it, and then I'm gonna commit it just like what we did, updating file, let's say git file, and then that is done. If you do git status, so we have this here, and what we want to do next, let me see, what we need to do next would be to, because we already have let me try to do this remote add origin. Okay, we're gonna need to add the URL here. So it's gonna be, I'll clear my screen, I'm gonna add the URL. So that'll be the exact URL from your website. I'll show you. Yeah, I'll show how you can get it. So you come here. This is your URL, and so you're gonna take this one here, and then you add get.get at the end. So like what we did during the first section of this. So we're gonna do that of this demo. We're gonna do that. We're gonna have to copy the right This is not the correct one. This is not the correct one. Let me see if I can have the other one that we did at the beginning there. So it's gonna be this one here. So this is your URL, right? So make sure that you add the .git because we're using the HTTPS as our protocol. So we're gonna do that, and then now it's saying remote origin already exists. In some cases, you may not see this because we have already run this this command, and now what we need to do is just to push it. We're gonna push it origin, and I think I'm using the correct. So let's say main, and that is done. Let's go to our account here. I'm gonna refresh it. Then we have the Git file here, and you see we just added this one here. And that's how easy it is. That's how easy it is. So in this video, what we've done, I've walked you through the process of how you can set up an account on GitHub. I showed you how you can also install Git on your local machine. Two things that I did here. First was to create a local repo and then send it to GitHub. That's what we've done. And then secondly, we took our remote repo, brings it to our local machine, and then pushed it back to GitHub. That is what we have done today. Also, the other thing that we did was to resolve an issue. We did a little bit of troubleshooting, just a little bit, by resolving by fetching the two repositories, and I hope this video was helpful to you. Thanks for watching. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.